Okay, we're 2 minutes past, and we're eager to get started. So let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're excited to talk about this AI webinar that we're going to start in just a minute, and I'll introduce our co-hosts in just a second. But since many of you are new to KMI, just a real quick tour of KMI before we get started. We're probably best known for the Certified Knowledge Manager program. I think some of you are already past grads of that program, but we're also excited to announce the Certified AI Manager here today, the new certification program for AI and knowledge managers, which one of our co-hosts, Rooven, launched with us last year, and it's seen a lot of good success. I think we're up to nearly 200 graduates now already, a dozen classes. And so if any of you are interested in this program, I just put our team email address in the chat. That's a great way to reach us. If you would like a discounted quote or more information on this exciting program that we're featuring today. And we're also known for great free content, and I usually point folks to our webinar section at the KMI site. And when you go there, you'll see many topics, but if you see under the featured presentation, we have our AI and KM 2026 series, of which Reuven is our host. We recommend checking that out as well. We're 7 episodes in. These are just short videos, a couple minutes each, showing the AI and KM connection that's taking place today in 2026. So check this out for more great content, and please join KMI if you haven't already to get our newsletter and specials on training. Okay, I'm going to stop share, and we're going to get started on our webinar. Thank you for joining us for AI and knowledge management, from AI tool to daily habit, managing the change, not just the tech. We have our co-hosts, Rooven Pakkiri and Pawan Khatawane. Reuven is an instructor for the CKM program in Europe, as well as of course, the Certified AI Manager program. And Reuven's been teaching with us going on almost 10 years now. And so we're just excited to launch this new effort about the AI and KM connection with Reuven. We also have Pawan, who recently took the Certified AI Manager course as a co-host, and he's also an executive at Nestle. He's the global IT product owner in knowledge management. And we're just eager to glean from Pawan as well here today. So without further ado, let's get started.
Fantastic. Thank you, Eric. Just checking you can hear me okay. Is that all right?
Yes.
Good. All right. So I think Pawan would like to just do a little disclaimer in terms of his involvement here as an individual, not as a representation from his company. But Pawan, I'll let you speak.
Sure. Thank you. So I'm Pawan Khatawane, and I'm a knowledge worker, a knowledge management professional, and I've been working for various KM programs in last 15 years, and particularly in IT service management space. And as a co-host in this webinar or in this conversation, I will share some of my personal experiences and of others from my industry colleagues. So the views, opinions, experiences that I will share does not necessarily mean that they are of the organization that I've been working for currently, which is Nestle. So I've been working for Nestle IT as a global product owner of IT knowledge. Thank you.
Superb. Excellent. Just a couple of housekeeping points so everybody's comfortable. You're going to get a recording of this webinar a day or two later. We just need to edit it down so it looks good, so you can relax and enjoy. If you want to participate, you can use the emojis. We love the emojis, or use the chat. We would just ask that you don't use audio until we get to Q&A at the end, just because there's a lot of people on the call. Then if you want to speak, by all means, speak up. Just great. You got it. Superb. Thanks. I love the emojis. Just to say that Paul and I have both, we know each other well, and we've been discussing the presentation in some detail, but we both intentionally said we didn't want to rehearse both of us presenting, so that he will say things and interrupt me. I'm very comfortable with that, but it will be more natural in that way and what he really feels, and likewise for you in the chat. So if it feels a little bumpy when he's interrupting, he's not being rude. We've totally agreed on that already. Excellent. I'd much rather be surprised as you if he says something intriguing, and we can discuss it as we go along. Superb. Okay, with that in mind, let us begin the show. All right. So as these slides come along, and there aren't too many slides, and there's a live demo, fingers crossed that all goes to plan. I think the way to get the most out of this session is to kind of play these back for yourself. Is this the case in your organization? Is this what you're seeing in your organization? One thing's clear, only a small single-digit percentage of companies are getting the whole AI and KM thing to work, okay? And particularly the AI adoption. That's the big question. And leaders are under increased pressure to deliver results. So just making the technology available doesn't seem to be solving it. And both Pawan and I believe this is a huge opportunity for the people on this call, okay? And that is that it's not a technology gap, it's actually a knowledge gap. Okay.
Yeah, Rooven, I would like to just break the ice, break the ice, and maybe speak for the audience here. And I believe that they may agree with me. Quick 3 examples. So we all of us, we have knowledge, a lot of it, but it is scared in terms of let's say it is on the folders or maybe SharePoint or Confluence, email, chat. Plenty of places we have this knowledge, and often it is duplicated or outdated or maybe contradicting. And often, of course, the context is missing. For example, when to use this knowledge and who this knowledge is for. So the first question here is, what is current trusted answer we want AI to give? So because AI doesn't understand the knowledge, it just retrieves or blends or rank. So AI readiness is one problem that we can call okay, we know everything, but we don't know. Second is a change management plan, because we know everything, but our focus is on deploying AI or distributing access to AI. But what about the change management plan to let's say create a AI readiness of the content? So do we have a knowledge manager led change management plan? And the third is network. We often do not clearly know how knowledge flows, the network of knowledge or the network of people who manage this knowledge. So these are the 2-3 examples I think that we know but we don't know, and that of course has an impact on our AI initiatives.
Yes, excellent. Well, I told you we hadn't rehearsed it, so this is quite good because many of the points he's made are coming up in the slides ahead of us. So you can echo them back as well. Good. All right. Let us proceed. So I want you to participate if you can. Of course, respect the right for you not to want to participate if you don't want to. But we're trying to gather. We have 3 questions today. If you can put them in the chat. These are some prompt answers. Don't use them if you have something more specific to share. But what we're really trying to get a feel of is, if a leader came up to you and said, what is our biggest challenge to AI adoption today? What would you articulate for your organization? What would you say? So if you can put that in the chat, that would be very helpful, because fingers crossed again, we're going to try and do something very cool at the end of the show, which we'll send to you if it works, and it will be based on your contributions here in the chat. So I'll give you a chance to put those through. And you can keep going as we move along, but very good. Thank you, everyone, for participating. That's going to make it a rich data set for us. I might also just give you a little hint here of what's going on. Think about it. You're all familiar with the traditional SECI model. Effectively, I'm just starting to get that tacit to explicit part of the SECI model in action here by you participating. Okay, keep going as we proceed. I'm going to go to the next slide. All right, so we've got this thing about adoption, and clearly many of you are sharing that this is a concern, and the statistics evidence this, right? And that is creating even more pressure. As I say, leaders are like, well, we rolled it out. Why didn't it work? Okay, and the way I would summarize this slide is, and again, you can use these slides to benchmark against yourselves. I would call this islands of experimentation. That's sort of the first phase of enterprise AI that we've seen. They've given people access to the tools. Some people are very proficient because they learned in their private public life to use AI. And so they're streaking away from everybody else, but they're not, no one's capturing those lessons. No one's sharing. No one's identifying where the talent is. Other people have tried and failed, and they're a bit embarrassed to say, we tried AI and it didn't really deliver anything useful. You can begin to see the need for structure and coordination. You can begin to see the need for the modern knowledge manager. That's really what we want you to get excited and optimistic about. Good. Let's go a little bit further. So you have AI, now what happens? What happens if everybody has the classic, everyone's got Copilot? Or I think there's a few people from Accenture here. Julie Sweet, the CEO of Accenture, is very much in the headlines right now that if you're not AI literate, there's no room for you at the company, and they will help you to get skilled, but that's not an option anymore. And yet everyone has the Copilot and still nothing's quite happening. And I think we're going to look back on this period and think this was a little bit like the mistake they made was thinking, oh, AI is like email. If we just give it to everybody, it'll kind of figure itself out. Or enterprise search. That has proven not to be the case. Okay. And these islands of experimentation could actually be made worse by AI as you get people siloed expertise, which is a big, big problem and is why knowledge management is a hot topic today. Okay, very good.
Reuven, can I add here? Okay. Yeah. So far, I think there is a fair agreement on a point that, yes, AI initiative is not just about technology implementation, but it is about having a center of excellence led by a knowledge manager, because that is what is you can call out on from the slide that you already have AI. Now what? But the center of excellence is something is a missing link. So for a knowledge manager, it is important, not only important to know how things work in the organization, but how impactful they are on how things work for knowledge is also very important. So what I specifically mean here is knowledge brokers are not only those who know the product and services in out, but those who know how things work, how network of knowledge and network of knowledge workers work, what are the barriers, how to remove them collectively in a center of excellence. So AI enabled knowledge management is not just about implementation of a tool or platform, but it is fundamentally the impact we need to create on design of the processes that we have. And how we work. Unless that is fixed, unless we change, or when we're adopting the AI, AI becomes just an experiment or an excitement. So we need successful change agent. We need to find patterns of silos, or not just when we discuss silos. It's not about people not working in collaboration, but it is particularly about the inconsistencies or gaps or the behavioral pattern that can impact the AI adoption as well. So yes, we need center of excellence.
Yes, and you yet again you've done a great job of almost forecasting what's coming up. But it's nice, you've established the pain point exactly right. If these things are happening in silos, the business has a big problem because they want enterprise-wide adoption. And so this brings us nicely to where, as Pawan said, the role of the knowledge manager. I think it's probably worth pausing at this point and thinking about an area where, it's the classic technique of Miller-Hyman, hurt and rescue. You need to be prepared to hurt leadership a little bit here, and then you must be ready to rescue them. So AI has, if you like, not one Achilles heel, but two. It's a powerful technology. It can do amazing things, but like all things, it has its weakness. And its two weaknesses are data and compute. Now, we'll leave compute aside because for most of us on this call, handling the AI compute, the power, the energy, is not something that most of us will play in, certainly not at this early stage. But the data, well, there's a whole different story. The public AI was trained on the internet. That isn't going to work in the enterprise situation. So we're back to almost bizarrely old knowledge management. GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. And in this way, the pressure does start, or the focus, and Pawan can give me his point of view on this. Back on the knowledge manager. Why aren't our data sets up to speed? Why are they fragmented? What have we been doing all these years in knowledge management that is not in play? So there is data quality, but now we bring a new dimension to the story, which is data governance. In the world of AI, we now have to also look at data governance in a much different way to the way we looked at it before. It's not just versioning control now, it's also about what things can certain people see and other people can't, and how will they use it, etc. So the whole data piece opens up a myriad of opportunities for knowledge managers. At this point, I often say to students on the course, you do need to start thinking about specializing. You should have a general awareness of the data issues, but decide, is governance going to be my thing? Is data quality going to be my thing? And then you build off that to workflow re-engineering. Re-engineering the workflow with AI in the mix is another wonderful place where modern knowledge managers can play. And then finally, if you want to finesse it, you can hit them very hard with the Polanyi paradox. 80% of the company's knowledge is in people's heads. So even the data that AI is going after is only 20% of the problem. How can we come up with techniques like this chat to get that out of people's heads? So there's a huge opportunity here around the data quality. And indeed, putting the house in order before you start. Again, we're going to probably look back and think that was one of the biggest mistakes companies made, giving everybody the AI tools when, as Pawan said, the data wasn't ready. But we are where we are, and you guys need to move quickly. On the course, we will show how, intriguingly, you can use AI to assist you to clean up the content and put it in order. I have a lovely phrase I like to use from a student. She's a knowledge manager in the pharmaceutical industry in Austria, and she says, the industry sector she plays in, the role of the knowledge manager is moving. It's become more important than ever, but it's moving from content creator to content curator. And so getting AI to do the donkey work, but the human always quality controlling. Pawan, sorry, did you want to come in?
Yeah. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, we were discussing in our knowledge-centered service group. So a lady brought a very interesting point. So when, let's say, if we want to share a knowledge base article, or if we want to reuse a knowledge base article, what a knowledge worker does, he goes through the knowledge, he reviews it, because reuse is review, right? And then if everything is correct, then they use it, or they can share this knowledge with the product or service user. So it's a human, let's say, human-led use or human uses here. But now what is happening is AI is using a content to create responses, let's say on an AI chatbot. If you are using any RAG kind of design where AI retrieves the content and creates a summary based on the relevant knowledge base article, here what is happening is AI is reviewing or reusing the content and rendering a response. So in fact, when AI is rendering a response, there is no check, there is no review. So it's a challenge for us. So although AI is bringing all the efficiency and productivity, the governance, it's still an issue. And here, as a knowledge, here our position or our role is changing from a knowledge worker or knowledge user to knowledge curator, where the AI generated responses must not only be checked, reviewed, but also be curated, and the cited knowledge must be curated as well, because AI is using the content here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And this is why this is a more complex thing. And in the course, we take a lot more time to talk about how you make this happen. It's not as simple as deploy AI to do it. That being said, let me just catch up. That being said, I want to give you something that you can actually, in theory, deliver tomorrow in your companies and make a huge splash. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I knew about this when we started the certified AI Manager course. This is the kind of beauty of the space we're working in. It's moving so fast, things come up. But one thing I do offer students is any student after the course that needs some help in solving problems, I'm very happy to do that. My only caveat is that I'm allowed to share with other people what we did if it was successful. If they don't want me to share, then they need to pay me, and that's a different arrangement. But I don't need to be paid if I can help them and we can deliver something. So I want to show you something that we discovered from a student that was on the course in February. She's a Gen Z person. She works for an Australian utility water company in the countryside between two big cities in New South Wales. She's only been at the company for 9 months. And when she arrived there was no knowledge management practice as such. And they said, we've got an aging workforce. So you know all these familiar imperatives, knowledge initiatives, and they're going to retire soon, and we haven't captured their knowledge. You need to do something. So after the course, she came back to me and said, help. What do we do? So I said, all right, well, let's try and engineer a few pieces. All right, so I'm going to show you a story now of something together we uncovered and were able to assist her to make a big impact with the leadership. Now, I've changed the slides and the data to a fictitious energy company because I can't, it's not right for me to share the individual employee data for her company. But the principle was uncovered with her just together by trying to solve a problem. And that's kind of where the AI KM magic happens. All right, so let me tell you about a story here. So there is something, was new to me as well, in the IT department called GFI. And what they do in IT, some of you will know this, of course, and if you do, fantastic. For those that you don't, yes, we're sitting on a knowledge management gold mine potentially here, but let me show you and you be the judge of that. So GFI is something that IT departments have to do, and that is for security and safety reasons. So it's not optional, they have to do it. So this is what they do. They analyze the email flow in organizations, okay? The volume, that's for obviously the server optimization, so the system doesn't implode and emails don't work efficiently. Who's contacting who, how frequently, and of course for any viruses or anything, any hacks into the system that might have come through with somebody internal communicating with somebody external. And so her genius was, and it's interesting because I was listening to Julie Sweet earlier today, CEO of Accenture, saying that they're not having a headcount freeze. They're hiring all the time, and they're hiring Gen Z because they are more AI savvy or AI literate. So her genius was to think, we don't have anything in the company. I'm starting from scratch, as it were. I'll go to a friend, another Gen Z person who works in IT, and I'll ask if I could get the GFI file for internal use, etc. Now, I need to be clear here. We're not violating any GDPR rules. We're not reading people's emails. We can't even see what's inside the email. We're simply taking the helicopter view that IT has this data already to monitor the flow and content. So I just want to check something, give me an emoji. That's clear. The point is clear there. So I'm not leaving my audience behind. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. All right. Now let's build from that. So she goes over to IT. Her friend gives her the thing and he says, why do you want this out of interest? She said, I don't know. I've got an idea. And then she contacts me because we've been doing this sort of stuff. My big thing on the course is get the data. Get the data from anywhere you can, and then we can do some magic with AI. So she gets the data. She puts it into an AI, which creates a sort of and marries it with the org chart and creates a certain image of who's talking to who, okay? Just the flow of emails, okay? We then get the AI to score that flow. So you can vary the scoring system. This is where you can earn your stripes, as it were. you can decide, in our company, I'm going to give more weight to the person that has a wider email communication to a person that has a higher volume. So volume and breadth are two factors that we can score. Okay, so here we put the emphasis on breadth over volume, but you can adjust those, and I'm happy to show you how it's very easy to do that. Okay, so then she comes to me with this for her company, of course, and we're just taking a small made-up company here, fictional company, energy company, 18 people, 5 departments. Where are the emails flowing in the organization? I can move a little quicker, and we can see in a 6-month window, these are the amount of emails that these different people are sending to each other. And then we can use our weighting system to give them a score, the breadth and the volume that they're doing. Okay? So then I hesitate, not genius, but my insight, if you like, was I then spoke to my AI and said, well, wait a minute, this is data. This is valuable data, right? Couldn't we do something? I don't want to spoil the surprise. I'm going to show it to you now, that I think could be very useful for knowledge managers. And the AI said, yeah, that's a great idea. So, this is where the humans and the AI work well together. We're creative. The AI is good at the computational side of it. All right. So now I am going to show you this demo, and I think Pawan is going to just talk a little bit here while I get it set up for you. So did you want to say something, Pawan, or shall I just proceed?
Yeah, proceed, please. Proceed.
Okay, fine. So just give me a second. A little bit clunky because I've got to jump out of this. Oh, great. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Just emoji me up. Let me know.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I'll leave my camera off so we can focus on what we're seeing. Now, you might typically think, okay, well, the size of the circle is how active they are. All right. So now we could spend a whole day on this, but I just want to give you a feel of what's going on. We can go to this guy Khalid and see he's got a score of 10. So he's most connected and highest volume. So he scores 10, but he's the head of ops. You would sort of expect that. What's more interesting is this character here, who is the humble knowledge lead in an organization, not the head of knowledge management, Rohan, and he is the second highest scorer. If we just pull him out a little bit here, we can get a better look of what's going on. So Rohan is almost acting like the chief knowledge management officer here, the unsung hero. He's connected to every single department. All right. And he's got a very high level of volume. What also happens when we pull him out to this side is we see something else interesting over here. We see 2 silos in the ops team, people who are not sharing and not connected. Now, there could be a reason for that, or there might not. But now we can see where to go. Imagine going to leadership with this. Having spent a little bit of time interpreting and putting a story together, you will be able to raise your profile, deliver incredible value to the organization, and map out the roadmap of where you should go. Instead of being reactive to people leaving, you can be proactive in that regard. And at the bottom, it's already doing some analysis for you. Banerjee connects to all the departments. He's a broker, etc. Now, in the interest of time, as I say, we could spend forever on this. I'm going to show you the next thing. Now, this is where AI really earns its corn, as it were, right? Things that you would never think about, you'd love to do. So you have to have the idea, but AI can do the execution. What if we modeled the company to see what would be the impact of Rohan leaving the organization, right? What would be the impact on the network in that regard? Good. Some people are getting this. Excellent. Right. Well, I'm sure everyone's getting it, but I like you the emojis. So let's go, and we ask the AI in a separate thing. Let's go back to the network, as it were, was untouched, and remove Rohan from the network. So here is remove Rohan. Now, if you're a fan of the TV show Frasier, you may like the fact that AI, well, we could have another debate whether it's becoming sentient, but it's certainly discovering its own sense of humor. Watch what happens when we remove Rohan. It says Rohan has left the building, which, if you know Frasier, that was the classic line at the end of the show. Some people get it. Excellent. All right. But more importantly, from a business point of view, leaders are going to absolutely adore you when you can do this, because look at what it's telling us on the left. It's telling us the impact of removing Rohan from the network. Okay. 15 connections, 15 people will have lost their major artery of knowledge, of flow in the company. 555 emails will be the drop that you'll see. Okay, 5 people out of 4 will lose their bridge, meaning the connector from their department to another department is often going via Rohan. Okay, so Rohan is really your Uber knowledge manager here, a modern knowledge manager. And there'll be a 16% network density depreciation in the organization. All of this is coming straight out of AI, right? In seconds flat, right? We're not having to go to IT department or business intelligence or business analytics. Her genius, the student, was to go and get the data, the GFI file. There, together, we iterated to lay that into an ONA and tell a story. I think once that, and then I had 2 other students in a subsequent course after that. One was I know she may even be on the course, so I haven't checked all the attendees, head of NATO knowledge management. And she said this, and I think Pawan said the same thing when I showed it to him. This opens the door to all the other knowledge spaces, all other spaces where data is happening that you could feed in here continuously from communities of practice, from Teams groups, from chats. All these things can be fed in here to enrich this organizational network analysis and to tell you where the pain points are. Very good. Okay.
So, Rooven, I would like to add a little. I would like to give a twist to this. So let's consider a positive example of Rohan. So to find out, so those who are familiar with the knowledge center service methodology, they might know this, that we conduct social networking analysis to understand in an organization who are the knowledge workers that people go to, who is someone who is passionate to help others, who is someone who learns and help others to learn. So these are the change agents, and we always need them to take up role like knowledge management coach, or let's say domain experts, because we want them to create that impact. Let's say the greater adoption, or to be the change agent and take over some of the activities that knowledge manager does. Okay, now if we use this, let's say, and social networking analysis, it takes months in any organization to conduct, in a kind of scientific manner to get the results and use those results actually to find the knowledge coaches. But if we use this AI technique, I mean, it will save not only save our time, but it will add greater objectivity, and it will help us to find the right people, the right knowledge brokers, the people that we will need in our change management program to act as a change agent.
Exactly. You've kind of covered this slide beautifully for me. Let me put my video back on. We've done the demo. Exactly that point. And here's where you guys can really, really hit hard against leadership. You should play this visual against the org chart. The org chart, you cannot see these players. You cannot see this activity. All looks well in the org chart, but when we do the ONA, we can start to see silos. We can start to see knowledge hoarders. We can see great connectors, the positive side of it. And we can see threats about who, if somebody might leave the network, the impact of that. You can start modeling and you can start affecting strategies. Leaders love it when you can give them decisions that they can make rather than just problems. Come to them with solutions, with visibility. You're going to become incredibly valuable in this way. Good. I can't follow all the chat. I'm just picking up bits. Yes, there's going to be caveats around that, but that's, again, where You can't outsource this, no disrespect to Accenture, to any extra or KMI. This is stuff that you know about your tribes and sub-tribes in the company, and you know the subtleties, as Pawan was saying, to calibrate that in a powerful way. Okay, I'm conscious of time, so I'm just going to pick up the pace a little bit. Who are the Rohans in your organization? Org chart doesn't tell you. We're now discovering ways that we can see that. We can get visibility, which, as I say, leaders love visibility because then they can make informed decisions. Okay, that brings us on to our second question. Please participate in the chat. Does your organization currently have a strategy for managing this type of thing that myself and the young lady from the Australian utility boards uncovered, AI-generated knowledge? You know, you can think about it. That ONA that we saw was generated without any surveys, any people involved, any kind of SECI model in play. We effectively did it outside of the classic knowledge management. So go ahead and put that into your answers as well. I'll give you a second to do that. Good, excellent. Now, some of you may have already joined the dots, but don't spoil the surprise for anybody. This chat that we're doing, obviously, I'm asking you a structured question, but you're putting your answers in chat, which is unstructured data. Okay, so this is, whereas the GFI model we saw was structured. IT loved structure, they were getting structure, hard facts, who is connecting to who's talking to. Here, it's unstructured. Okay, so we're getting tacit knowledge, you're releasing it, so in that way, we're giving ourselves a tick for the SECI model. This is reliant on your participation, but it's unstructured. So I want you to imagine where we're going. All right, now, Pawan talked about change management. Absolutely right. For those of you who already know, and for those of you who don't, let me just do a quick recap. There are three types of change management typically, right? Transactional, very easy, low level; developmental, more complex; and transformational, the hardest type of change management there is. Modern knowledge managers today are often seen as transformational change managers. You've got to add that piece into your mix and your show as a transformational change manager. You're not going to be the only person doing it. There'll be others, but you need to have an appreciation of it. So on the course, we spend a lot of time, as Pawan said, talking about transformational change management, and we use the Kotter model. There are other models. Kotter's model has been the most successful historically. The challenge for you is anybody can follow the model. That's easy, right? Understanding the model is easy. As I say, deploying it is hard, but customizing it for your organization, that's where you become invaluable. Spending time thinking about the Kotter's 8 steps and what it means for your organization. How does it play out for you speak the language of your organization. I don't. Others, consultants don't. We can assist and guide, like I did with the Gen Z person at the utilities, but ultimately it's her baby. She's going to run with that. She knows the people and how to play it. So I'm not going to do a thing on Kotter today, but I just want to show you that this is covered in detail, as Pawan said, absolutely critical. Good. Which then brings us to the AI Center of Excellence, which Pawan signposted earlier. Here's a challenge for all of you, if you're interested to get past the hype. Go to LinkedIn and type in AI and knowledge management roles, AI Center of Excellence. And I promise you, it will explode, right? With jobs across every sector you can imagine. So that's not an accident. Why is that happening? That is happening because of what we saw the problems in the earlier slides. Islands of experimentation aren't going to help the company future-proof the company. It's not going to help the company stay competitive. To do that, they need to re-engineer the whole thing. Forget the org structure. We need to do something far more radical. We need the AI Center of Excellence. Think of a bicycle, hub and spokes. Spokes out to the different departments, hub for all the things that you now need to centralize in terms of AI, governance, security, right technology, future-proofing, future technologies, customer requirements, all of those things, and data quality, of course. All of those things have to happen. And my personal commitment is to try and help you get the knowledge manager's job at the AI Center of Excellence. When you're in position there, then you're in a very strong position. And doing these kind of GFI quick wins and taking them to leaders is like your calling card or your ticket to get a seat at the AI Center of Excellence. That's where it's going to happen. That's where it is happening in organizations today. And as I say, jobs for knowledge managers in AI Center of Excellence. Now, I need to caveat that. Modern knowledge management, not old-style knowledge management, not document-centric, people-centric, modern knowledge managers who understand transformational change management. You're invaluable right now. They need you. Leaders need you badly right now. Okay, cool. Our last question to complete the chat. We're just coming nicely to the end of the webinar. What role do you play in your organization's AI journey? So it's anonymous, so go ahead and put it in whatever you think. Honesty is the best policy at this stage. It's not where you'd like to be, but kind of where are you now? You could even put in, I'm here now, but I'd like to be this next place. But the key is by getting to the AI Center of Excellence, you'll be able to elevate yourself to become what I would call you'll never be the king or the queen. So that's something you need to make your peace with in modern knowledge management, but you will become the king or queen maker. And if you become the king or queen maker, they will look after you. They will take most of the credit, but they will need you to do exactly the sort of stuff we saw in the demo. Excellent. Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds to put your answers in there. Pawan, are we good? All good?
Yep.
Okay, well, I've got 2 minutes to wrap up. Very good. Okay. So this, again, ask yourself, where are you in this journey? Where is your organization in this journey? Very much the course is about giving you the tools, the mindset, and tips and tricks and quick wins to elevate. When you can show the company what you can do and a roadmap to get them down this path, you're going to be very valuable. As I say, most organizations, they're stuck. The slide says it well. They're stuck between awareness and adoption, and time is ticking. And the fear for leaders is somebody cracks this ahead of them, they may never catch up. Okay, great. Some people are into habitat value, which is Paul, excellent, powerful. Then you're very keen to learn what defines that in your world. Okay, cool. So things you can do on Monday morning. Well, get that GFI file if you can. That would be awesome. But also start to think about the big picture and where are little wins you can get from that, but also where are the sticking points and who are the people you can start to recruit to help you form a guiding coalition. You need to find people who get it or get excited about what you're talking about and see the opportunity. As I say to students on the course, their agenda might be different to yours, but what do you care, right? As long as they're going to make common cause with you and climb the mountain with you, all is well, right? They may have their own reasons for doing it. It doesn't matter. Okay. And as it says here, stop calling it an AI project, start calling it knowledge transformation. That's when it's going to become more meaningful for the organization. All right. That is, I think, the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know, there's the course coming up in India in a few weeks' time, our first India course. We're very excited about that. So if you are in that time zone, please speak to KMI and they'll be happy to accommodate you. And if you're a graduate from one of our other courses, you get a major discount. I sound like the sales guy, so I'm going to stop. And our next America course is at the end of June. All right. With that happy note, I want to thank you all. It's been a little bit rushed, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. And thank you for participating in the chat. We're going to try now. I'm going to go to the AI kitchen and cook you something. Hopefully it'll come off and serve it to you in the next hour. Let's see what happens. All right. Eric, do you want to close out or are you good?
Thank you, Reuven. Thank you, Pawan. That was fantastic. And we've been reaching out to registered guests who weren't able to enter the room, but just to let everyone know that we're working on the recording immediately, and we'll have that ready for you and others who were not able to join us today as soon as possible. But thanks so much for being with us today, and hope to do this again very soon.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.